Hello class. Today we will start with a new chapter, colloids. As I have written here, colloids. This also comes under coarse dispersion or biphasic dosage form or heterogeneous dosage form, we can say, such as your emulsion and suspension. But how it differs from emulsion, suspension, and why it is not comes under solution, we will see. First of all, if I has to know what is the meaning of colloids, what I have written here, colloids, it is nothing but this word colloid actually has been derived from a Greek word. It has been derived from a Greek word. The meaning is glue, glue-like substances. It is a glue-like substances, we can say. And this colloid has been discovered by an American scientist, called it as a Bancroft's. I think in the last videos, if you have gone through with that, Bancroft's rule we have seen in emulsion. So this has been discovered by Bancroft, the scientist name. And it has been come from the Greek word glue-like substances. So what it is actually? Colloids are nothing but a biphasic or heterogeneous dosage form. It is actually a biphasic or heterogeneous dosage form in which the dispersed particle, here you can see the dispersed particle has been uniformly distributed in the dispersion medium, having a size range, this is very important, having a size range from 10 to 1000 Armstrongs. The size range of the particles which is there in the colloids are from 10 to 100 Armstrongs, or we can say 0.5 to 1 micrometer. So it comes in between, as you can see pictorially I have shown here, it comes in between the solution and the suspension. If we will see here in solution, we will have a very fine dispersed particles. Dispersed particles, this is a homogeneous phase where the particle size is lesser than 0.01 micrometer. Whereas in the dispersion, as I had told in the definition, the colloidal particle has been, that is the dispersed particle has been uniformly distributed in the dispersion medium. Here we are having two medium, dispersed particle and dispersion medium. Size ranges from 0.5 to 1 micrometer, or we can say 10 to 100 Armstrongs. And whereas how it differs from the suspension, in suspension you can see in picture only I have shown the particle size larger, that is the particle size in the suspension ranges from 10 to 1000 micrometers. So if I had to define colloid, colloid is a biphasic dosage form or heterogeneous dosage form in which the dispersed particle has been distributed uniformly, having a size range from 10 to 100 Armstrongs or 0.5 to 1 micrometer in a dispersion medium. If I had to give the example of colloids in day-to-day life, we can tell that the bubble which has been formed by soap, or if we have taken the shampoo and if you have tried to dissolve the shampoo, whatever the lather we are getting, that is nothing but colloids, in which we will be having solid particles distributed uniformly in the liquid medium. So why it is important to study colloids? So what are the applications? If we had to know the importance of any topic, why we are studying in the physical, either in the physical pharmacy or any other subject, we had to check the applications. So here now we will discuss the applications, a few to tell the applications of colloids. First and foremost important application of colloids in pharmaceutical field is therapy. In therapy we are using colloids. Colloidal dispersion of metals we are using in the therapy. Say for example, silver colloidal dispersion we are using as a germicidal. Germicidal means it have a activity against the germs, means it destroys the germs. The metal is silver we are using. Likewise copper, colloidal dispersion of copper we are using as a anti-cancer, and mercury we are using again in another examples are, we can say, in other therapies. So here in the therapies, to tell a few, silver, germicidal, copper, anti-cancers. And the second one for most important application is absorption and toxicity. Here if I am saying the colloidal dispersion is having a greater absorption rate in comparison with the suspension and emulsion, not with the solution. Okay, so if we are preparing anything in the colloidal form, it will have a greater absorption than by we have a toxicity also. If the dose has to be, otherwise we have to reduce the dose. The colloidal dispersion of sulfur, we can say colloidal dispersion of sulfur, if we are preparing, it will have a greater absorption compared to the suspension or emulsion of the sulfurs. Then the third one is solubility. If the drugs are insoluble, there we can prepare the such kind of drugs in the form of colloidal dispersion. How? By using surface active agent. By using surface active agent as the intermediate in the colloidal dispersion, we can increases the solubility of poorly soluble drug. Thereby we can prepare in the colloidal dosage form. So it increases if we are preparing any insoluble drugs in the colloidal form, we can increase the solubility. Examples are sulfonamides and phenobarbitones are the examples, few to tell. Then the stability. It increases if we are preparing anything in the form of colloidal dispersion, it increases the stability of the dosage form. Here I can give you example of tablet. I can give tablet. If we had to increase its stability, what we are doing, we are preparing HPMC, that is hydroxypropyl methyl cellulose. This is one of the surface active agent, this is the one of the polymer we are using. The colloidal dispersion of HPMC we are preparing. This HPMC colloidal dispersion, we will form a coat. Say for example, this is the tablet, and thereby what we are doing, we are coating the tablet by HPMC colloidal dispersion. Thereby we can prevent any adverse effect or any side effects or any environmental hazards to the tablet. So thereby we can increases the stability. Then in targeted drug delivery system, or any drug, if we had to target to any particular specialized organ, thereby we can target by preparing in the form of colloids. Say for example, lyosomes, microsomes or liposomes. These are the few examples to tell which we are preparing in the form of colloidal dispersion, and thereby targeting the drug to the liver, spleen, likewise. So this is the what I can say, a definition and the application of colloids, that is what is colloid and its application. If I had to give the example of colloids, I can give the example like acacia in water or insulin, we can say the example of colloids. If I had to say colloids classification, it has been broadly classified into three categories. First classification is based on the charges which is present on the dispersed particle, colloid has been classified. Second, based on the state of matters, colloids has been classified. And the third classification is based on the interaction of dispersed particle with that of the dispersion medium, the colloid has been classified. So now we will see in detail one by one. The first, as I have told, the colloids has been classified, that is based on the charges on the dispersed particle. If the dispersed particle which is present in the colloids have a positive charge, then the colloids is called as positively charged colloids. Examples are gelatin in water will be the example for positively charged colloids. Whereas the negatively charged colloids, acacia in water, starch in water, pectin in water can be the example for negatively charged colloids. Means the dispersed particle contains the charge on it. Whereas the second classification, state of matters, whether the dispersed particle is solid, whether the dispersed particle is liquid, whether the dispersed particle is gas. And the same thing, whether the dispersion medium is the solid, whether the dispersion medium is the liquid, or whether the dispersion medium is the gas. Based on that, the colloids has been classified. Here I have written the tabular column form. in which I have tried to give certain examples. This column indicates the dispersed particle, solid, liquid and gas. And all this which I have written in the black color, this indicates the dispersion medium, and the first column, dispersion medium, is solid. If the dispersed particle is solid and the dispersion medium is also the solid, then the example will be the zinc oxide toothpaste is the example. If the dispersed particle is the solid and if the dispersion medium is the liquid, then the example is bentonite magma is the example. Bentonite magma sol is the example. If the dispersed particle is the solid and the dispersion medium is the gas, then the example is solid aerosols, we will say. Solid type of aerosols will come. If I had to give medically or pharmaceutically solid aerosols means, example is isoperenitol sulfate is the example of inhalation aerosol, solid aerosols. Then comes if the dispersed particle is the liquid along with the dispersion medium is the solid. The best example is whatever the butter we are using in day-to-day life, that will be the example. And oils, oily ointments is another example of liquid in solid type of colloidal dispersion. If the dispersed particle is the liquid along with the dispersion medium is also the liquid, then the example is soya bean oil with watery emulsion. That is, oil in water kind of emulsion comes under the liquid solid dispersion. So then if the liquid is the dispersed particle and again the gas is the dispersion medium, here again I can give the example is liquid aerosol. Example, beta-methazole valerianate. Topically applied aerosol is the example for liquid in gas type of colloidal dispersion. Then comes if the dispersed particle is the gas and the dispersion medium is the solid, then the solid foams is the example. Solid foams I can give pumice, we will say, that is one of the example of gas in solid type. If gas is the dispersed particle and the liquid is the dispersion medium, foams we can give example. Here a commonly used example is carbonated beverages. Whatever the cold drinks you will take, that comes under the classification of gas in liquid type of colloidal dispersion. Then comes if the dispersed particle is gas and the dispersion medium is also gas, we doesn't have any kind of colloidal dispersion where we can get the dispersed particle along with the dispersion medium, both are the gas in gas. This is the second classification. Coming to the third classification, which is very important. Sometimes in exam you may get the question classify colloids. There you can write this, or again 10 to 5 marks it carries the question. Explain in detail the classification of colloids. There you have to tell what is the classification and you have to explain in detail what is lyophilic, lyophobic and association colloids. So first, based on the interaction of solid particles, the colloids has been classified into lyophilic colloids, lyophobic colloids and association colloids. So these are the classification of colloids, which is broadly classified into three categories. One based on the charges, second based on the state of matters, the third based on the interaction between the dispersed particle with that of the dispersion medium classification. Hope you have understood. Thank you.